Normally when a body's been floating, you'll see some bloating. I'm trying to think of the most respectful way to say it. The body did not seem at that height to be disproportionate to the way it should look.
As the investigation into the death of Nolan Wells continues, his family, friends, and supporters gathered on Monday to honor the 18-year-old during an emotional funeral service. Wells' case has drawn nationwide attention after he disappeared on July 4 while visiting a Mississippi barrier island with a group of friends. Following an extensive 2-day search, his body was ultimately recovered along the shoreline, raising many unanswered questions about what truly happened. One of the biggest questions surrounding the case remains the autopsy findings and the condition of Nolan's body when he was recovered. During the funeral, many viewers noticed that the family chose to hold a closed casket service. While families may make that decision for many personal reasons, the choice led to renewed public speculation about whether the condition of Nolan's body could reveal additional clues. At this time, officials have not publicly released the final autopsy findings or determined an official cause of death. Adding to the public discussion, Brian Trasher of the Cajun Navy recently spoke with TMZ about what he observed during the recovery efforts. Trasher, who has spent nearly a decade assisting with search and rescue missions, said that from his vantage point, Nolan's body did not appear to be significantly bloated in the way he is often seen with many drowning victims. His comments have fueled further online discussion, although they represent his personal observations rather than official medical findings. Authorities have stated that the investigation remains ongoing, and the autopsy results will ultimately provide the most reliable medical conclusions.
We were coming back up north towards the northwest tip of Horn Island when we noticed there were boats in the center of the island where there's a lagoon tip, and then when we got closer, we noticed there were 2 boats already parked in tandem on the beach. That was strange. It was a Monday morning. It was obvious they weren't fishing. So we descended and to about maybe 450 feet, 500 feet. And we could tell it was law enforcement boats, law enforcement personnel. And then I noticed that there was what appeared to be a body right at the shoreline, laying face down. The one thing I'll say about the condition of the body, and again, I want to stress very, as much as I can, that I'm at 450 feet in the air. But normally when a body's been floating, you'll see some bloating and whatnot. He wasn't in the water that long. The water temperature was high. He has a low body mass index. Normally we'll look for a body to pop up on about day 4, but we knew it was possible he could pop up as soon as day 2. And this was day 2. I'm trying to think of the most respectful way to say it. The body did not seem at that height to be disproportionate to the way it should look. Now, I could not get a good look at his face. So I was really looking at, his back of his legs, back of his arms. And so that was my vantage point. And I just want to stress to everybody that that's not an ideal vantage point. And plus I'm flying at like 90 knots, so I'm going pretty fast.
According to Brian Thrasher, bodies recovered after drowning often show visible signs of bloating as decomposition progresses. This process occurs when naturally occurring bacteria inside the body produce gases, causing the torso and surrounding tissues to expand. In many cases, the buildup of these gases contributes to a body eventually rising to the water's surface. Based on general forensic research, bloating can begin within approximately 2 to 3 days in warm water, while colder temperatures may slow the process. Nolan Wells was recovered roughly 2 days after he was reported missing, placing the recovery within a time frame when some degree of blading may be expected under certain environmental conditions. However, the exact timing and appearance of decomposition can vary significantly depending on numerous factors, including water temperature, currents, depth, injuries, and individual circumstances. During his interview with TMZ, Trasher explained that from his aerial vantage point, Nolan's body did not appear to show the level of bloating he has commonly observed during previous water recoveries. He emphasized that this was simply his personal observation from above and not a medical assessment. Trasher's comments quickly sparked discussion online, with some social media users speculating about alternative explanations for the condition of the body. However, these reactions remain unverified opinions, and there was currently no official evidence confirming claims that Nolan's body was moved or placed in the water at a later time. Investigators have not announced any findings supporting those theories. Before concluding the interview, Trasher also remarked that he found it notable that Nolan's body was ultimately discovered in the same general area where he was reportedly last seen. Even so, authorities have continued to stress that the investigation remains active, and any conclusions about what happened should ultimately be based on the official evidence, including the autopsy findings and the results of the ongoing investigation.
It seems like what happened was he was carried north, which indicates to me that he might have got caught in a rip current, and it carried him north. And then as the tide slacked and the current changed back to a southward heading, it carried him right back to the beach. The only thing that really stood out to me that I was not expecting is that he washed up very, very close to the last spot where he was seen alive. I wasn't expecting that.
Following Nolan Wells' funeral service on Monday, his family and legal team reaffirmed their commitment to seeking answers and justice in the ongoing investigation. After the service concluded, Wells' parents, along with their representatives, held a press conference to address members of the media and provide an update on the case. During the press conference, civil rights attorney Ben Crump expressed frustration over the pace of the investigation, particularly regarding the autopsy and toxicology testing performed by the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office on July 7. Crump said the family is still waiting for the official findings and emphasized that they want the results released as soon as possible so they can better understand what happened to Nolan. The family's legal team reiterated that they are seeking a thorough, transparent investigation and believe the unanswered questions surrounding the case should be resolved through the official evidence as it becomes available.
It's always troublesome to all of us when these investigations just take forever. I mean, 6 months to get a toxicology report back, to get an autopsy done, as if, you know, the longer we let it go, the more people forget, other things happen, it gets swept under the rug. And so that's what's important, to have a timeline. And when you don't have that timeline, you start to say, oh, what Nolan Wells, what happened? I mean, I remember that case, but we got no answers.
During the press conference, the discussion also turned to the timeline for the autopsy and toxicology reports. In many death investigations, preliminary autopsy findings may be available within a few days and can provide initial observations about the possible cause of death. However, toxicology testing often requires several weeks to complete because of the detailed laboratory analysis involved. Ben Crump explained that the family is waiting for the official findings from the state's autopsy before moving forward with an independent examination. According to Crump, reviewing the state's initial results first could provide valuable information, especially since the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office examined Nolan's body shortly after it was recovered. He indicated that those findings could help guide any additional independent forensic review. Before concluding the press conference, Crump also revealed that his legal team had received a tip claiming Nolan was seen on the same boat as the young woman he was reportedly speaking with before he disappeared. Crump did not present the tip as confirmed fact, but said investigators are looking into all available information. He closed by emphasizing that the family's goal is simple: to uncover the truth about what happened to Nolan Wells. Crump stated that they are seeking a complete and transparent investigation, regardless of where the evidence ultimately leads or who may be responsible, if anyone.
There are people who are presenting videos, photographs that may show Nolan was on the boat with the person, Katie. We got the fully vet that I respect so much what my mentor, Reverend Al, said up there. We're going to go wherever the truth leads us.
As of now, Nolan Wells' parents say they are still searching for answers about what happened to their son on the day he disappeared. Despite the ongoing investigation, they maintain that many critical questions remain unanswered. The family continues to call for a full and transparent investigation, hoping the official autopsy findings and other evidence will provide the clarity they have been seeking since Nolan's death.
Seen the photos of his body on the beach. I couldn't see the face, the neck, the arms, the hands for defensive wounds. I couldn't see if there were bruises to the torso. I couldn't see if the skull was fractured. None of that. I couldn't see if teeth were missing. But it seems to me we would know there had been blunt force trauma, stabbing, shooting, manual or ligatory asphyxiation. We would know that. But yet, we know nothing.
In an effort to encourage new information, a $100,000 reward, supported by Al Sharpton and Tyler Perry, has been announced for information that could help investigators better understand what happened to Nolan Wells. As the investigation continues, public interest in the case remains high. Recent comments from one of the search and rescue volunteers about the condition of Nolan's body have generated additional discussion online, but the official cause and manner of death have not yet been confirmed by investigators. What are your thoughts on the case? Do you believe the available information points to a tragic accidental drowning? Or do you think there are still unanswered questions that deserve further investigation? Share your perspective respectfully in the comments below. And remember that the investigation is still ongoing.